Weathering with You, this film. I think a lot of people know by now that I have some controversial opinions when it comes to animation. Sometimes it's things that I hate that others love, like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Sometimes it's the other way around, me loving something that others hate, like Ralph Breaks the Internet. In terms of the former, this is the one that I expect people to hate me the most on. And of course, because of it probably being my most controversial opinion ever, I decided that this is going to be the final Ryanimation review before my 10th anniversary. This is the last review of the main series on my channel when it is still in the single digits in terms of years. Before we talk about the 2019 film first, I think for this Ryanimation review, I divide it into parts to keep it more organized. I won't be doing any spoilers until the second half of this review, and when we do get to spoilers, and yes, I do have to spoil this movie eventually in order to talk about it properly, when we get there, I will give several warnings. But for now, let's talk about my anime experience as a whole. Part 1. My anime experience as a whole. So this is really the first time that I have talked about anime on this channel. Technically, I have done a video with Dashi the YTP on Azumanga Daioh. I saw every episode of that show and she and I gave our opinion on each one on a still image video. Oh yeah, I should get this out of the way. Japan has no fair use laws. That's honestly my main reason for why I haven't really gotten into anime. Not because this law prevents me from finding said anime or even watching it. No, I find these anime perfectly fine. But usually when I watch something, I have an urge to want to review it. And Japan stuff, I can't really do that. For this review, we are going to be using different editing techniques to keep this up on YouTube. So if this video looks different than usual, that's why. It's solely for the Japanese copyright system. I think 5 years ago, I tried uploading some Little Witch Academia videos, and they all got blocked. I even did a review on Akko and Sushiland. It took 4 tries to keep it up. I took it down for me not being a fan of the original review, and who knows, maybe one day I'll redo that review. The only thing that I did keep up were a couple of short YouTube poops on the show.
Way to go, Broomy! You're the best sweeper in the whole wide world!
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
In terms of what I've seen in anime films, the only ones I've really seen are of Studio Ghibli. Now that's obviously not true. I did watch Weathering with You, which is not a Studio Ghibli film, and I watched its predecessor, Your Name. I've also seen the original Pokemon movie, as well as the Digimon movie, and I saw the 2004 Yu-Gi-Oh! Pyramid of Light film. Out of Studio Ghibli's 24 current films, I've seen precisely half of them, a full dozen. I made the mistake of watching Earwig and the Witch. That's definitely my least favorite anime anything. Yes, worse than Weathering with You. At least this film is prettier than Earwig.
Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it!
The other two bad ones are Tales of Earthsea and Ocean Waves. While Earwig is a 0 out of 10, these two are both a 1 out of 10, with Earthsea being slightly worse than Ocean Waves. And who knows, maybe one day I'll talk about why those 3 films are garbage shit. All the other 9 Ghibli films that I've seen I've enjoyed, with maybe the exception of Arrietty. That's a C tier 4 out of 10 for that. It's a bit boring for my taste, but still better than the bottom 3. The other 8 that I saw that are in chronological order are Castle in the Sky, Kiki's Delivery Service, Whisper of the Heart, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, The Cat Returns, Ponyo, and The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. All films that I would give a 9 or a 10 out of 10. A's and S's. For anime shows, I've seen Princess Knight, Hibari-kun, Kirby Right Back at Ya, Azumanga Daioh, Lucky Star, School Rumble, Madoka Magica, Nichijou, Blue Exorcist, Attack on Titan, Kill la Kill, Little Witch Academia, and Blend S. My personal favorite show out of all of them is Azumanga Daioh. In fact, it's in my top 10 favorite shows of all time, the only anime to achieve that glory. And I am interested in seeing more anime like Urusei Yatsura, My Hero Academia, and One Punch Man. I need to see more anime. The editor of this video has actually requested me to review One Piece for the past year, which is actually his supposed payment for editing all my videos. Sorry that I didn't get there yet, Sage. I am still gonna get to it. Starting next year, I plan on doing something. It was originally gonna be a Ryanimation review, but ended up being too complex for that. It will make sense what it is next year. Yeah, next time, please just ask for regular money, not reviews like this. So yeah, I do at least have some sort of background when it comes to anime. It's not like I saw Weathering with You at random. And speaking of Weathering with You, let's get back to talking about it. Part 2, Weathering with You premise. So the film is about a 16-year-old named Hodaka that escapes his homeland to go to Tokyo, hoping to have a better life, but he ends up down on his luck immediately, only for this other 17-year-old girl named Hina to help save him.
How old?
16?
You're younger than me.
Huh?
I'll be 18 in, approximately a month.
And we find out that she has the ability to control the weather. They call this a sunshine girl. All she has to do is pray and then the rain goes away.
Watch. It's gonna clear up.
What? You're a sunshine girl.
And honestly, that's kind of all that I really need for this movie. I enjoy the premise. We live in a world with big weather extremes. And even if we didn't, we probably all have that rainy day that we just wish would be nice and sunny. And then boom, a girl prays and your troubles are over. It's like singing "Rain, Rain, Go Away, Come Again Some Other Day," but this time actually working. While in Tokyo, Hodaka meets up with a guy named Ketsuke, who gives him a job. The job is, running conspiracy journals? Okay, I never really got the idea. I think he works for a gossip magazine. Feel free to correct me in the comments down below. He has an assistant that works with him named Natsumi, and she's probably the most fun character in the movie. I also enjoy her scene later in the movie with her helping Hodaka escape the police with her motorcycle. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, I needed to bring this up now. Because Hodaka is a minor, he legally can't be out by himself. This is why a huge chunk of the movie is about the police trying to go after Hodaka. It takes up a good quarter of the film, possibly even a third of the film. It's not stuff that I'm a big fan of. Hina is also a minor. In fact, she recently lost her mother, making her have no guardians. Worse still is that she has a little brother named Nagi. She actually does a good job taking care of him. She doesn't like child services because... we'll talk about that later. But there is hope. It's revealed that if she could dodge the police for a good week, she'll be able to legally take care of herself and her brother all on her own. Because she's gonna be a legal adult next week. An 18-year-old. No longer a girl, but a woman. I think now is a good time as any to talk about what I love about the film. Part 3, the positives. The first immediate thing that I want to gush about is the animation. I mean it, right now. This is the most beautiful looking animation of all time. The first time that I saw this in theaters, I had tears coming down my eyes. There's not a single shot of this movie that looks bad or off. I wish I had an art book of this movie. Every single frame of this is a masterpiece. Even if it's a part of the film that I hate, it still looks great. Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of theaters, I saw this film back in 2021. The irony is that this film takes place in June 2021. That's when I was able to see it. Let's just say for now, that was not a good time for me for personal reasons. But when I did see this, it did cheer me up a bit. One thing of note is that after the film was over, they decided to show a behind-the-scenes documentary of the film. There were a lot of people that saw the movie and loved it just like me. Yes, at first. I love this movie. It wasn't until me rewatching the film and thinking about it for weeks on end did I notice that this film was problematic. Not many stayed for the documentary. In fact, I recall being the only one, but I think it was a good documentary going into Makoto Shinkai's ideology for the film. He's the director of this movie. A part of me wishes that films would show documentaries on its behind the scenes of the film that you saw right after the movie was over. That's a cool little bonus detail that I never thought of before that I now want to see done with good movies. According to the documentary, this took 3 years to make, yet only 6 months to write, and it was worked on shortly after Your Name came out. And every single detail of animation proves that. Fun fact, did you know that Makoto Shinkai was under budget and had to rush Your Name? Considering that Your Name is the second best looking animation of all time, I would have never guessed that in my life. And yes, back to the animation of Wedding With You. Look at the Big Mac from McDonald's. That's the best looking sandwich I have ever seen. And I've seen Scooby-Doo Zombie Island, as well as plenty of anime and Ghibli films, so I know what I'm talking about. It actually kind of reminds me of this actual legit Japanese McDonald's commercial. Makes you wish the commercials were like that in America. What are they like actually?
Order the land, air, and sea by name, build it by hand, and hack the McDonald's menu. I'm surprised at how attracted I am to it.
Dude, that's creepy.
Oh, our commercials were directed by SpongeBob SquarePants. Ew! Back to the film. There are so many good shadow effects. When the rain stops, we see it stop perfectly. Water is hard to animate, and yet there's not a single second that looks bad. When the sun comes out, it looks so beautiful, like an actual sun. Almost as if you see an actual rainbow right in front of your eyes. It's like taking the best stuff of real life and putting it to animation. The music is also amazing. It helps with the experience. I suppose I should clarify that just because something has amazing animation doesn't mean that the product is good. In fact, the thing in animation that's the least important is the animation itself. You can have fantastic looking animation, but have your product age badly over time. Wedding With You is not the only victim for this. The My Little Pony Friendship is Magic movie has the exact same scenario problems as Wedding With You. I loved this movie when I first saw it in theaters in 2017. I gave it a 10 out of 10 and even put it on my top 10 best anime movies of the 2010s list from 3 years ago. But now that time has passed, it hasn't aged well. And no, it has nothing to do with the lack of Starlight Glimmer, lol. I still love the quality of the animation. In fact, if Wedding with You is the best looking anime film of all time, then the Friendship is Magic movie is the best looking Western anime film of all time. The story is shit. It's just a typical road trip journey with one of the worst Act 2 breakups I've ever seen.
I'm the last princess. You're also the only one who doesn't trust her friends. Well, maybe I would have been better off without friends like you.
Oh no! Twilight is no longer friends with the 5 ponies that we love! You guys know that Season 8 had images with their friends, right? Which came out before the movie.
That was pointless.
Like, I knew that Twilight wasn't gonna break up with her friends, the ones that we knew for the past 7 seasons, / 7 years. Can we please get past this fucking cliche? It's the worst cliche ever, and Tempest / Fizzlepop Berry Twist is the worst villain that Friendship is Magic ever made. This pony who did mass destruction across the entire planet is only becoming a good guy now because her evil master tricked her at the very end. Like, if he allowed her horn, I bet she would still be evil. What's Twilight's defense?
Why are you doing this? You're a pony.
The irony is that next season, Twilight will try to befriend other creatures / races. Wouldn't a good start up to the next season have Twilight befriend the Storm King and kill Tempest? The Storm King wasn't as threatening throughout the film, and he was more of a lovable idiot, so this would have been the perfect time to do that. But no, Twilight only ever redeems female unicorns. Like, that is all that she redeems across an entire decade of Friendship is Magic. And on the animation aspect, 3D animations usually age badly. I rewatched Looney Tunes Back in Action recently because it was Bugs Bunny's birthday. It's actually my favorite piece of media from Looney Tunes, but the CGI is bad, specifically on the aliens. It's butt ugly. The human models from Pixar before Up don't look the best, which is why most of their films didn't really focus on showing humans. But before I criticize Weathering with You fully, I still want to defend it a bit, because it still has some good left to it. And Act 2 is pretty good, while Act 1 I thought was boring because it's just setting up the characters and not really progressing the story, and Act 3 we'll talk about later, I thought Act 2 was really fun. In fact, let's do a whole part on that. Part 4, Act 2. This is my favorite part of the movie. It just really puts a smile on me seeing these 2 kids helping everyone make the city a better place. I should probably bring this up now that this film has a music video dedicated to it called Grand Escape. It's a really good listen. I often listen to it when working on videos. Heck, while writing this script, I gave it a listen. It does a good showcase show in Act 2, and Acts 1 and 3, but it does it best with 2. We see a bunch of people request Hodoka and Hina to let it be sunny at certain times. See, when Hina makes it sunny, it's only for a limited time, like say, 1 hour. But hey, it's a nice balance. These 2 get to make a living off making people happy. While Hina's powers only work for a limited time, her short time of giving the sun makes everyone in Tokyo that uses her power delighted. It's revealed that Hina is now 18. Great! She can take care of her brother and herself. While there is an issue with Hodoka, we at least now know that Hina and Nagi are safe. So 2 out of 3 being safe is good. We even get to see Kisuki, the guy that took care of Hodoka, enjoy time with his daughter. She has asthma and can't really be out in the rain, so when it's sunny, he finally had the chance to bond with her. Kisuki's mother-in-law usually takes care of his daughter due to him working a lot and not being the best single dad since his wife passed away. Even with all the sadness, these kids give off hope for the future. It felt like a perfect ending to a film. In fact, if Kisuki adopted Hodoka, it'd probably be perfect right there. Regardless, everyone is now happy. The sun is out and the rains are done. But then that's when I realized that there were 54 minutes left in the film, which causes a lot of problems. Like, a lot of problems. And honestly, after the part of the park with the last request, I recommend stopping the film there. Turn your TV off, walk out of the theater, hit the stop button, whatever device you're watching on, just end the movie there. Because everything good about the film ends right there. So it's time we talk about the twist of the film that it loves to pull. If there's one criticism about Makoto's works that I have, it's his twists. Both this film and Your Name have twists, and they are both terrible twists. Let's talk about the twist in Weathering with You right now. Part 5, The Twist. The twist that this film has really does bog it down. The first act of this film is boring. The second act is really beautiful and made me see things of why people love this film. And the third act can just fuck off and die! Like I said earlier, if you were to see this movie in theaters, I recommend watching it to the 54-minute mark. The scene with the girl with asthma, finish the park scene, then just walk out. Because after the park scene is where the film falls apart. I do need to state this right now. This is your final warning. Everything leading up to now was a spoiler-free review, but in order for me to give my opinions on the rest of the film, I need to go into spoilers. And the only way to be able to properly display my criticism is to give the twist that this film sets up. Are you ready?
3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, here's the twist. I gave you enough warnings, here it is. Hina is not a legal 18-year-old adult, she's a 15-year-old girl. She lies to Hodoka about her age, and also because of all the wishes from everyone with the weather, this causes all of her life to deteriorate and she will now die. What the fuck? We're going there, really? We're really going there. Are you fucking serious now?
I don't believe it. I'm the one who's older?
Yep, both of our protagonists, believe it or not, are perfect for each other. They're both manipulative, lying assholes that are pieces of shit that can't be trusted. And they each also break the law. You guys get along like Beth and Jerry from Rick and Morty, I swear. Why does this twist bother me? Well, let me put it like this. Imagine if in the Owl House, when Ida took Luz in, we learned halfway through season 1 that Ida is not an adult much older than Luz, but rather a child that is younger than Luz. And we would learn that child services are trying to get her, as well as King, her little brother. Would that make the Owl House better? No, it would not. It'd be convoluted and depressing as all hell. And that's what I get by this decision from the film making Hina a minor. While you could argue that Hodoka still has an issue with terms of child services, why did Hina also have to get involved? And why make her younger than Hodoka? Alright, fine, make Hina a child, whatever. Don't also give her a little brother in elementary school to take care of. It's forced melodrama and I hate it. It kind of reminds me in Your Name when we learn about the twist with the time travel. Oh, hey, see all these children are about to die with the meteor? Have fun trying to fail to rescue them. God, I hate melodrama twists. And why couldn't Hodoka also have no parents? You have Hina not have parents, and we never see Hodoka's parents once in this movie. They're just stated that he has parents and that he ran away from them. Oh, okay. So we don't know what Hodoka's life was like back at home. Why? Why don't we get to know this? You could say that Hodoka ran away from an orphanage for all I care. Hell, have his parents / caretaker also die recently like what Hina just went through. Oh yeah, Hodoka has a life back where he came from. Show don't tell, assholes. What was his life like? We never get to know this once and I hate it. Were his parents good people? Were they bad people? I don't know. The film never states anything about this. Seriously, you could so easily fix this film by having Keisuke actually adopt Hodoka, and having Hina be an actual adult that could legally be on her own and taking care of her little brother. It could be like Nani and Lilo from Lilo and Stitch. Think of it like that. It's not like Hina can't take care of her little brother. She can keep the house that she's living in under control. She takes good care of her brother, and she can cook. She just needs a stable job. I mean, the Sunshine Girl thing was working, but you wanted to stop for some dumb reason. And no, too many requests is not a valid answer when it comes to bills. Sorry, but in this world, you gotta do the same thing over and over again if you want to make money. And Hina, what do you have against child services? I get that it's something that you never went through before, but you only have to stick with it for a couple of years, and then you'll have the ability to be on your own. This film never explains or even shows why Hina hates this. I'm actually assuming that, actually. In this world, if you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me. Seriously, did Makoto just forget to give a reason for Hina not wanting to go to a service that will help her and her brother? Is she just stubborn? It's kind of weird that I know more about her little brother in terms of personality than our main female lead. Nagi is the 5th grader that acts like Glenn Quagmire. Giggity. Basically, he has 2 girlfriends. Well, one is his ex-girlfriend. I feel like this kid's gonna go places. Nagi is a lot more of an interesting character than his older sister, because they actually spend more time with him than Hina. Well, no, Hina has plenty more screen time, but despite that, I barely know anything about her. Not helping is that her design is kinda bland. It looks like generic anime girl. That's another major criticism about Makoto Shinkai's writing. His main characters are always boring, yet his side characters are far more interesting, at least from the 2 films I have seen of his works. And I've said this time and time again. What makes or breaks your product is how the characters are. If your characters suck, nothing will save it. Your writing, music, audio, acting, and yes, even for this film, Wedding With You, animation won't save your animation. I feel like that's honestly the real reason why people defend this film, is because of the animation alone and not the characters. Is there any reason to not go this route that I suggested? Other than melodrama, of course. And here's the thing. I'm not against dark twists. Gonna also spoil Madoka Magica now, but I don't mind the dark twist, even with Mommy dying at the end of episode 3. Want to know why I'm fine with Hamura not telling the truth to Madoka? Because she tried that multiple times prior.
I'll do it over, no matter how many times it takes.
And Madoka either died each time or took over the world. Her trying to prevent Madoka from becoming a magical girl without telling Madoka was the only solution. And Hamura wants to keep a friendship with Madoka, and the two both want to save the world, and they both show generosity. Hodoka and Hina show greed, the opposite of generosity. Also, Hamura and Madoka's actions actually save the world and don't flood Japan. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll save that discussion for later on in this video. Put a pin in that for now. First, let's talk about twists in anime films. Anime films also do good twists, like The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, where we learn that Kaguya is from the moon. It doesn't make me hate Kaguya, because she never lied to her parents or anyone where she was from. Fucking hell, the twist in The Cat Returns is better, and that's more of a comedy film, not serious. It being that Yuki knew Haru all along because she is the same cat that Haru gave fish crackers to when she was a little girl. Because it's cute and makes me trust Haru more. Oh, I almost forgot. Castle in the Sky. I'm fine with the Mark Hamill villain and Cheetah being related to each other because it doesn't ruin the film for me. When Hina lies, it makes me not trust her. Liars are the people that I don't trust the most in life. Isn't that why people hate Lois Lane from that new Superman show? Oh, you lied to me, Superman. What we had is over. And all I had to do was jump off a building to pretend to kill myself to get you to confess. And yes, I am aware that there are other anime products with bad twists. Like Danganronpa revealing that all of these characters are in a fictional setting in a fictional world and that all of this is fake. Wow, how original. Or the film Before Weathering With You, Your Name. Oh, these characters that are constantly swapping bodies are also time traveling. Oh, and the girl is dead, lol. You could say all you want in disagreeing with me with my Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur video where I was against the idea of Lunella lying to everyone but Casey about her secret identity. I can understand the line on some level in hindsight. I mean, I get why Hina lies, but it doesn't make me like her at all. Maybe if there was some sort of showcase on Hina being against adoption or a foster home, but the film does fuck all to that. I get that your mom was always with you, but what if you did get a wonderful guardian? We don't get the chance, so I can't know for sure. You want a better twist that this film does? It's revealed that the woman that Kensuke is with isn't a love interest, it's his niece.
Hang on. You never mentioned that. She's her
So
niece.
this whole time, you had disgusting fantasies?
Which is why she puts up with this shit. And now I'm going to have to ask a bunch of questions that the movie doesn't even try to answer. And these are questions I'm sure that Makoto Shinkai didn't even think about. So, Hina gets her powers by going through the shrine. This is a legitimate question. Can anyone that goes through the shrine get the powers? All the movie states is that Hina found it shortly after her mother died, like she could see the shrine through the hospital room, and went through it. Was it how the sun angled into the shrine via the storm?
I'm lost!
The movie gives some sort of exposition. Every city and every country of the world used to have their own Sunshine Girl many years ago. But that doesn't answer how one becomes a Sunshine Girl, nor where they originate. For all Weathering With You shows me, all anyone has to do is pass through that shrine, and then they can magically control the weather. So Hina, why didn't you tell anyone about the shrine? You know that Japan and the rest of the world is suffering from global warming, so why not use the shrine to solve all of the Earth's global warming problems? I guess this is now a good time to bring this up. This is a film about climate change. The director of this film, Makoto Shinkai, was inspired by how Japan has a particular increase in rainfall during the summer months, hence why this film takes place over the summer. I didn't realize this when I first watched it, but upon rewatch made me notice how obvious it is.
It's raining again.
Yes, movie, hammer in that Tokyo is raining. Show don't tell, please learn that. Here's my issue when pieces of fiction try to state real-life important messages. It comes across as these pieces of fiction should be taken seriously. While you can throw in metaphors to real life in your story, taking it on basis I find disgusting. And it's not just with weather that does this. Back at the beginning of this decade, during the whole George Floyd controversy, Animation started to make their own racism PSAs. Steven Universe made 3 of them where they state it as a corny 80s PSA, only for it to dissolve into parody?
I think people like the black, white, or purple thing because adding a fantasy race in there helps distract from the actual racism black people have to deal with.
Like, I never got this. There was a Barbie PSA, the fucking doll, they made up a fake racism issue and treated it like it was a real case.
While I was on the boardwalk, beach security stopped me 3 times. What? They asked me all these questions over and over, and they even called my mom.
My god, the Barbie movie is so much better. These are all real issues. Racism, climate change. But when you present it poorly, it undermines the issue. And Weathering With You isn't the only film to do this. This happened with Norm in the North.
Our land is vulnerable, and we're responsible.
That line implies that it's the polar bear's job to worry about the ice in the Arctic. Oh, what? Humans creating greenhouse gases, melting the ice? Nah, not our actual problem. It's really the problem of the polar bears. It's their job to take care of the ice. How you doing, Norm? Wow, you're doing a shit job. Worst king ever. Do you get what I mean when you showcase real issues this poorly? Weathering With You wants to promote the message that we need to take better care of the planet to prevent more greenhouse gases and climate change. And I 100% agree with that. But it doesn't work when you showcase that all of the problems can be solved by just us humans going through a magical portal. You could argue that Hina was shy or something and that she didn't want to use her powers to help Tokyo in fear of her being noticed. But then she has no problem helping others when it comes to money. Oh, I'll bring back the sun for you for the right price. That comes across as Hina blackmailing all of Tokyo. You know people need the sun to grow food, right? Just throwing that out there. But you're probably thinking, oh, but she was only helping people that needed the weather to be good. And these people all had good, non-selfish reasons that made the earth better. Yeah, like helping a guy win a gambling horse race. That so totally makes the world a better place and make Hina look good. I'm surprised she didn't ask that guy gambling to split some of the profits. Seriously, don't showcase a guy gambling if you want to make Hina look good. She's helping gamblers. I mean, if they were more related to the kids wanting to see the stars or the wedding, then I will let it slide. Hell, the concert had a better excuse. But no, you had to showcase someone doing shit. So Hina was getting the money regardless of what people said. No moral ground for her. Just her being a sellout. And only quitting when she got too many requests. So Hina, with you quitting, are you fine with everyone just being miserable in the rain again? That's what you neglecting your job comes across as. You could make the argument that this is an oversight or it doesn't have an effect on the people, but this movie goes out of its way to show that one of the characters has asthma. Are you perfectly fine with a 5-year-old girl being stuck inside forever until you get enough cash? You really are despicable, Hina, and I hate you. If you don't want me thinking about people with asthma, don't make a character in the film with asthma. I wasn't even gonna think about it if you guys didn't bring that up. Oh, but if Hina uses all of her powers, she'll die, and that's why she didn't want to do it right away. According to the film, Hina didn't know about it until later. So, what stopped her from doing it prior? And again, why not tell people about the shrine that they can go through to help control the weather? Look, in our real world, we're currently dealing with all-time record highs and droughts/floods depending on the location that you live in. Like Florida having 100 degrees in the ocean, and temperature records that haven't been broken for 125,000 years. Death Valley was at 135 degrees this year, breaking the all-time record there. Believe it or not, the weather was my biggest worry for all 2023. Yes, even more than the people who hate me, racism, and gun violence. My biggest worry was the weather. We could solve all of the world's weather problems right now if more people just go through the shrine to get the magic weather powers. And speaking of Hina, why did the issue have to be a limit? I'm not saying that she should have unlimited power. What I'm saying is that her weakness should have been something else. Instead of using her powers too much causing her to die, it should have been something like the gummy berry juice from Gummy Bears. In that show, Kevin could use the gummy berry juice powers to get super strength, but only every 24 hours.
The juice only works for humans once a day.
Now you tell me.
That there could have been a perfect defect for Hina. She can only pray to the gods to make it sunny every 24 hours. Did you think that killing an innocent adult was a good idea? Oh, I'm sorry, an innocent child? See why it's bad to make her 15? Making her a child just forces tension. This isn't something like Grave of the Fireflies, where there's a reason for killing children. Makoto just wants to tug out your heartstrings just because he finds this funny. That's not a joke, by the way. Makoto Shinkai in interviews literally said, I thought, should I make my next film so that I don't anger more people? Or should I make a movie that angers them further? And I chose the latter. To Makoto right there. I have no way to say this, so I'll just say it. Fuck you! You can't spend this much time and this amount of effort just to troll with your audience. I never got that. It's one thing to make fun of your trolls or people that hate you. I do that all the time. But when it comes to people that love you and support you, why would you make fun of them? Oh, and for some dumb reason, Hodoka and Hina decided to just stop at random doing the sunshine. Why? You keep getting hundreds of requests. You could be set for life doing this. All Hina has to do is close her eyes and pray. She seems to have a 100% success rate, so why quit the job? They didn't quit because of her limit. They quit because there were too many people. Okay, after quitting, what were you gonna do? I highly doubt that Keisuke would give you a raise.
What? Are you serious? That's slave labor. Is that even legal? You're gonna get sued by the Department of Labor. Young people love suing. You know what? Actually, I think I'm gonna report you myself.
His niece right there pointed out that he's broke and underpays Hodaka, so you can't really make a living off him. The film even later states that Keisuke can't keep Hodaka in his office because it would look like him kidnapping a child. So, what was your goal, Hodaka and Hina? Dick around until your ending comes when you screw over Tokyo? Oh yeah, that ending! Part 6, that ending! Alright, there is something that the film does near the end that does seem to have a saving grace. Hina sacrifices herself to bring back the sun, something that she knew about.
Can I ask you something? Would you like the rain to stop?
Yes.
She caused this eternal rain, and now she has to pay the price.
After months of intense rain, the Kanto region is finally seeing some brilliant sunshine.
As long as the weather remains clear.
Oh, good to know that Hina started this endless rain, but she is making up for her giant mistake. And I do think that is admirable. It is a little rude to just leave her brother with no one at random, but he does get to foster care pretty quickly, so it kinda evens out. Everything in Tokyo is peaceful. Yeah, there's still flooding and the trains don't work due to excessive water, but people are smiling. We see people happy and cheering, and Mocha won't have any asthma issues anymore. It is a bit sad that Hina is dead, but she just saved millions of lives, and it seems like the movie is finally back on the right track. But no! Hodaka can't handle being alone again. So he flees the police, and can I just say that the police are fucking incompetent at this? A 16-year-old child shouldn't constantly get free like this. Like, Hodaka is able to dodge the police literally every single time until the end. Hell, he could dodge them without the help of Hina's powers. Why are the police so incompetent in this? It frustrates me more than. No wait, what frustrates me more is Hodaka's gun! Like, I could maybe let it slide that Hodaka is a naive 16-year-old, but then you give him a gun, and he fires it at people! What the fuck am I supposed to say about that? I have no defenses for Hodaka! Nasumi helps Hodaka escape the police on her motorcycle, which is actually a cool scene, I'll give the movie that, until she runs out of land. Hodaka then runs onto the track that is flooded, by the way. You're lucky to still be alive after all this. Then he's able to find the shrine that Hina used. This kind of reminds you of something. Have you ever heard of Dorbies?
Dorbies, everywhere I look I see Dorbies, rolling to and fro I see Dorbies, why don't they go away?
Okay, I swear that I have a point with this terrible 1998 animation to make with this 2019 film from two different countries. Well, in Dorbies, there's a short involving Mr. Poe.
Dorby German Access Television presents Mr. Poe und Jogel.
Oh, star, strongest Dorby in the world, who's loved by every boy und girl und yak. It's Mr. Poe und Jogel.
I swear I have a point to this.
He is very, 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 very nice. It's Mr. Poe und Jogel.
In the animation, there's a part where Poe can press 3 buttons. The first one can free Yogo, the second one can end world hunger, and the last one can bring world peace. He only pushes the button that frees Yogo. There is no reason for why he can't press the other 2 buttons. It's never stated you can only press 1. This hero should be able to press all 3 buttons. And fuck Yogo. That's what Weathering With You is. It's basically those 3 buttons for the whole film. That's what the message comes down to. And honestly, I hate to state this, but killing Hina is the best option. Because the other option would be to flood all Japan, and which could kill thousands, if not millions of people. And killing Yogo would be the same thing. Seriously, fuck Yogo. And yeah, remove that pin now. So Hodaka goes into the portal to free Hina, and then he floods all Tokyo.
Oh, there's my tea. What?
Excuse me for a minute. Tokyo is a city that has 37 million people, and you just flooded all of that. The most populated city on the planet Earth. Like, even if this was a small village, this would still be a bad message. But did you really have to pick the most populated city on the planet Earth? At least with a small village, it's just a couple people that could just easily leave. You can't really leave Tokyo. Part 7, the message. To be fair, Makoto Shinkai said that this was the most controversial part of the film, and he said that there will be people out there that hate this decision. And yes, I agree. This is the worst part of the film as well as the most controversial. I would want to destroy the world if I can't live without you. Look, I get that this message was before the pandemic, but even then, that's a destructive message. When we see Tokyo 3 years in the future, it's all flooded. A bridge for cars can now be passed next to it by boats. People had to leave their homes because of the flooding. It never stopped raining for 3 years straight. And it only stops because these two assholes get together to live out their super fantasy, so they were able to flood the city for 3 years until they get their own petty ways and they get no consequences for any of their actions. Fuck this movie! Part 8, conclusion. Look, I tried my best to enjoy this film. I watched it 3 times, and while I did love it at first, every single time I watched through afterwards, I noticed more and more problems. The second time made me see new problems, and the third time made me see even more problems. I just want Makoto to do better with his writing. That's what I hope for him to do, because he is not a good writer. He's a fantastic artist, a better artist than I'll ever be, but his writing is a lot to be desired. For all we know, his next film could be about Rob Schneider turning into a chair that we're supposed to take seriously.
Rob Schneider is a chair.
Rated PG-13.
What the fuck? Also, random fun fact, Dr. Robotnik's voice from Sonic Boom is in this, just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, next time when we tune to Ryanimation reviews, on my actual 10th anniversary being August 26th, we're taking a look at my favorite animation of all time, something that I never really talked about on this channel before. And yes, I like it even more than the Amphibia series finale, or any episode of that show. As for what this animation is, you'll just have to wait and see. See y'all then. Rebecca Starlight, out.